36, right? If I do my math right. If Crimson Days lasts for 2 weeks, that's 36 engrams. That's 18 illuminated or bright engrams and 18 Crimson Days engrams. So that's good. That's a good flow of these engrams coming in without much grinding really needed to be done. Crimson engrams can also drop from completing the Crimson Days match and from completing the Crimson Days milestone on each character. So we have 36, or we have 18 plus 3 milestones per character, so that's 21, plus another 3 if it's 2 weeks. So that's 24 Crimson Days engrams for free. You know, no grinding, no money required, just right there at the gate, assuming you put in the time to play. Each Crimson engram is very strongly weighted to new rewards when decrypted until all new event items have been obtained. So the more Crimson Days engrams you open, the better the weighting is to get stuff you haven't gotten yet until you've gotten everything, and then it's just whatever's in the pool. Which is definitely what we need. We need that for regular engrams. We need that, and we need that soon. So that's a very good change there. I gotta go to Nessus. It's a very good change there, and something that we definitely needed to see. That's all they talk about for Tesseverus and Eververse. Like I said, I never really had a problem with the Eververse, right? What I had a problem with was there's no end game cosmetics to get either. And in my opinion, just taking Eververse stuff and putting it into the endgame isn't enough, right? I don't want to get some cool exotic ship just for doing the raid. I want a raid exotic ship, right? I want a Nightfall exotic or a Strike, legendary ship or something. That's what I want. But I'll be happy being able to get these other cosmetics through the game as well. And now the question is, are they going to dismantle into Bright Dust or legendary shards? Because if you take her loot pool and you put it into other activities, well now, if I get this cool ship by doing a strike and I dismantle it, then that's even more Bright Dust for me to use on whatever she's selling for Bright Dust instead of just random chances. So that's another point too, to make Eververse, to improve it. So the next topic is XP rates. Basically it boils down to saying, hey, they understand it's really slow right now. They don't want to devalue one event for somebody just because they grinded a lot. And then that means that somebody else who does, a public event once in their lifetime will get, very, very small amounts of XP from it. So they had a solution. They tried it out. It was really buggy and it didn't work. So they scrapped it and they're trying another one. So they're listening. They're trying. I think XP is maybe the smallest issue that we have as a community right now with them. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to comment. But XP it's what it is, right? The throttling was kind of shitty. That they didn't tell us about the throttling, but where XP is at right now, I'm okay with. Here we go.
Tracking Cade signal now.
I
think I'm getting something.
What's wrong? This looks so bad, so grainy. Am I in 1080p? Yeah, I am. All right. Well, what can you do?
Getting us into this time? Something around here is blasting that.
And then they move into the big stuff, the feature roadmap.
We'll find Cade.
So these updates are going to be coming to every player of the game, regardless of if they have Curse of Osiris or not. And it's going to start off with the January 30th update. So the first thing to the January 30th update is Masterwork Armor. And they say that they're going to expand on Masterwork Armor. They're going to reduce the damage you take while in your super. That's what Masterwork Armor does. It reduces the amount of damage you take while in your super. And if you ask me, that's super underwhelming, right? I don't know about anybody else playing the game, but, when I'm in my super, I feel powerful. I do. I don't ever feel vulnerable. Maybe as a hunter, I do.
There.
And then people have been talking about how it's going to help the Dawnblade class. Maybe in PvP. I don't play PvP too much, so my opinion's not very valid there. But I just feel that there's so much of a bigger opportunity to do so much more for Masterwork Armor than, you take less damage in your super. Even the weapons don't have that sort of, base dribble of less damage, Weapons create orbs of light for you and your allies, and they boost one of your other stats, right? Even if it's a small boost, that's pretty big, a pretty huge impact on the game. For weapons at least, and armor just could have been so much more and wasn't, right? I do have to go this way, right?
What?
So, I don't know. Hopefully they take another design pass at that. Then it goes on to say, you can find legendary armor, or you can make Masterwork Armor by using Masterwork Cores, which wasn't too surprising. But then they talk about raid reworks. So they're going to be updating, let me get this back up here. We are updating raid rewards to make them more unique and interesting. They will now feature mods with raid-specific perks, and we are adjusting the rewards to ensure a raid item drops from each major encounter. So raid-specific perks on armor and weapons. At least that's what it says here, right? Armor and weapons? Raid, it just says raid rewards, so that's armor and that's weapons, right? So this was a big gripe that I had with the raid. You know, if I went into the raid and I was using Hawthorne's Field Forge shotgun, right? And I beat the raid and I got another shotgun, right? And I know you can't get the shotgun from Leviathan, you can get it from Eater of Worlds. But while some people might argue that the Eater of Worlds shotgun's better, you know, the point is it's not better to the point where you have to use it, right? The only real weapons that really make an impact would be Sins of the Past, the rocket launcher, because it's got auto-load holsters and cluster bombs, and the sword, right? Just because the sword, the raid sword has 2 perks, as opposed to every other legendary sword having 1 perk. And there's no exotic swords in the game. What the heck? I just realized that. But moving forward, now there's going to be more reason to look for the weapons and be excited when you get a weapon to drop in the raid. And the armor up until this point, even to this day, is purely cosmetic. And I say that because it doesn't matter what you get armor-wise. You're just going to look different, you know? I think the only class that really cared about getting raid armor was Hunters because it was restorative, and you don't get a lot of restorative raid armor. Oh, you know what? That's another thing. Masterwork armor can be re-rolled. So that's an important point too. I left that out and I really shouldn't have, because that is an important point to Masterwork armor.
Someone there? Listen,
but even still,
ask me how this happened.
That's not that, impactful in the long run, because you re-rolled this armor piece to be heavy. You know, well, there's a heavy armor set out there in the game, right? You could have saved your armor cores and just gotten that piece. It might not have looked as cool. You know, it might not have, shown your shader off very well, but it was there. You didn't have to waste Masterwork cores to get it. So, I don't know. Like I said, hopefully they make another design pass. Why am I using Striker? I have no perks in it. I should go back to Void for a second. Anyways. Let's get this here. Just make sure my stream isn't dying on me. It looks like I dropped a few. I don't even know. I'm not that tech savvy. Not frames. My bitrate dropped. But we'll see. We'll see how it sounds. Anyways, so I'm hoping when they say raid perks on armor, it's going to be like Wrath of the Machine level quality. Where, let's take this guy out. How did I miss? What the hell is that? Come on. Where, your gauntlets could give you more power ammo drops when killing a Cabal. Or you get more super when killing a Cabal with a headshot or something like that, right? Something more impactful. To really make you want to use raid armor over, another armor set. Instead of just, you earn 10% more glimmer when killing Cabal in the raid. Who cares? Who cares about stuff like that? I am just not doing well with this sword right now, huh? Hold on. Maybe I'll hurt me. So let's put up our barrier. Take these guys out. Alright, cool. So, is it going to make people, do the raid every week now? Well, for some people, yeah. Other people, no, probably. It really depends on how impactful and how different these raid perks are. How much they increase our feeling of power, not just our pure power level, but our actual feeling of being a powerful guardian when we're in this raid.
This is not going well.
Then they say, you can, let's see here. The raid vendor will also directly sell Leviathan and Eater of Worlds armor and weapons for purchase with raid tokens and legendary shards. So if you've been playing if you've done the raid every week since it released and you just cannot get a helmet to drop, well, you can buy that specific helmet from the raid vendor, who's Benedict, the sweeper bot.
How long have you been here exactly?
You can pay for it with raid tokens and legendary armor or legendary tokens, shards, whatever. You know what I mean. And that's good. That's an improvement they needed. That's going to help people complete their collection or get the weapons they wanted. But that brings up an interesting point. If I can just buy the raid weapons, does that mean the mods are there? And so then after one raid, since everyone's going to be hoarding tokens, there's no point to raiding again? Because that's going to really, really decide if the raid mods are random. Maybe there's a whole pool of mods you can get. So maybe the arms dropped with Cabal drop more, heavy ammo. Maybe they dropped with, you know, take less damage when you're in the gauntlet or something like that, right? If you guys watch Say No to Rage, I've really been watching him lately, and I love that dude now. And everything he talks about is basically everything I think about, you know, what Destiny needs as a game. So make sure you watch Say No to Rage on YouTube, subscribe to him, follow him on here on Twitch, and just really give him your time and effort. Oh, I'm gonna level up because he's got a lot of great ideas too, and I wouldn't say I take inspiration from him because, you know, great minds think alike, and you know, these are a lot of ideas that I, you know, would think they'd put in the game anyways, but he, you know, has some great ideas in terms of how to improve, which is basically what this whole conversation is about, right? How am I so bad with connecting the sword with enemies? I don't understand. Well, anyways. Let's see. Oh, let's clear out these enemies before we look at the next topic. Cool.
You are good at destroying mechs. Much better than my crew.
Alright, the
was.
next topic is... Get out of here.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but failsafe, what happened to the
Oh, a new
Exodus
ghost.
Black crew?
We're adding a new ghost with raid-specific perks that have a chance to drop from the Leviathan in Need of World's final encounters.
Super dead.
So, you can get a... I don't know if it's going to be the same ghost for Leviathan as the same ghost as Eater of Worlds, or if it's going to be a different one. You get one from beating Callus and a different one from killing Argos. But... in order for it to be something you really care about, it has to be more than, oh, you have a chance of getting more raid tokens, right? Who cares about that? I mean, yes, objectively, it is better to wear that ghost, so you have a better chance of more tokens, which means more armor and gear, weapons and armor. But, you know, you get it once and you never need another one again. So hopefully that's not all it is. Hopefully they put a little bit more effort into that. And then that's all January, right? So Raid reworks Masterwork armor in
The
January.
Cade 6 is just beyond.
Then moving to
that
February,
gate.
they talk about strike
Please
scoring.
proceed.
So they're removing the timer
Won't
in
we
the
get
Nightfall.
stuck
Whoops,
like
I probably
Cade?
died, huh?
Oh,
They're removing
no.
the timer
My
in the... Yeah, I
judgment
just died.
module is much more reliable than
Oops.
the Cade unit.
They're removing the timer in the Nightfall and replacing it with strike scoring. I personally never had a problem with the timer, but I do appreciate that other people weren't a fan of it. And so to remove it, you know, they are satisfying more people than disappointing by removing the Nightfall timer. And they're replacing it with the scoring system. Now, they say it's going to be similar to Destiny 1. And in my opinion, Destiny 1's scoring system wasn't that intuitive. You know, it was kill enemies with supers, get double kills, get, you know, triple kills, headshots, stuff like that. Nothing that's going to really blow your mind or really make you think about how you approach a combat scenario. But we'll have to wait and see, right? They also talk about letting you choose your own modifiers, your own strike modifiers. Hold on, I gotta focus on this. Oh no, I don't. It just sucks me right in. Let's see here. Yeah, so the scoring is similar to Destiny 1 system, but with adjustments to emphasize competitive execution. Hold on, Kate, you can wait. Oh, never mind, you can't wait. I gotta focus on this.
What's that? Is that a Hydra? Okay, yeah.
Yes,
So,
it is a
that
Hydra.
first, then me.
Alright, then what if we do? Look at me so I can shoot your eyeball. There we go. Hapax. Is Hapax like Greek, like Panoptes? Or is Panoptes a Roman name?
Hey,
I
you're
don't know.
doing great. Thanks.
Okay, just a funny. Alright, we're
Keep it
hurting.
up. Unless you're losing, then do better.
Ooh, look at that. Let's get our health back here real quick. Whoa! Did not expect him there. We need a super. Alright, we tried to hit him. We just cannot get our health back, huh? We need to get some safety. Alright, now we got our health back. Let's go take out this Vex Hydra. Where'd it go? Oh, it's over here. Take it out. There we go. He's dead. And magically, the other Vex disappear with him. Alright, cutscene time. And I'm guessing everyone's played the story by now, so you don't really care if I skip this cutscene or not.
Quick, hurry, come on. I don't know how long this
So anyways, the scoring is similar to Destiny 1 system, but with adjustments to emphasize competitive execution of strike objectives